Daytona DMAX on tour for 2018 comes to a close here at Clay Pigeon, the 8th round of 10, and we're going to have a really exciting battle with our championship leader, Bobby Trundley, in the Inter Enduro, in 3rd position. What exactly is the reason for that in qualifying?
No reason, just traffic got a little bit unlucky for me, but I think I can make it up in the race. It's really close at the top. I don't know what the gap is, but apparently someone said 3,000ths or something, 300ths or whatever. But it's going to be a good race between Ed and Joe, obviously, and Chris behind us, all the Applewood idiots, as I call them. Nah, they're all good mates. So yeah, it'll be a good race.
Very cool conditions at the moment. There's some strong winds out there, and there's even a little threat of potentially a little bit of drizzle. Is that going to cause a bit of an issue here?
I doubt it. I mean, it depends. Obviously, Clay's got a little history of it suddenly chucking it down sometimes, but I highly doubt that it's going to do it during this race. It's a little bit earlier. I know it's meant to come a little bit later, so we'll be fine for this one, but we'll have to wait and see what the heats bring.
Okay, well, let's see what you can do. Have a good race, Bobby.
All right, thank you.
Joe Ellis, 100ths off the pace from pole position. How are we feeling?
Yeah, not too bad. I didn't think I was doing too well. So Bobby came past me quite early on, seemed to just speed off, but obviously caught it up at the end.
So close between the top 3. You're going to keep you cool for the start?
Yeah, it's probably my favourite track, Clay. So, yeah, hopefully should be able to do something.
Ah, good stuff. Excellent. Well, best of luck for the race.
So our pole sitter is going to be Ed White. And Ed, this is only your 3rd appearance of the 2018 season, so to be on pole position, you must be absolutely chuffed.
Yeah, really good, yeah. First pole in the Enduros. Yeah, hoping for a good race. It's really close between the top 3. Yeah, it should be a good race. Just hopefully get a clean start, and hopefully all 3 of us will battle to the end.
This is a tough circuit. What do you think is going to be the key element over the course of the hour?
Being consistent. Yeah, just being consistent, putting in the laps. Try and break away, just make it a top 3 fight.
Fantastic. We're looking forward to a great thriller. Have a good one.
Cheers, thanks.
This is going to be very interesting, not just in terms of the race we've got, Anthony, but also the championship battle, because all of the main championship players are off that front row of the grid, and there's a few of them in very different positions.
There is indeed. And as we saw from qualifying, Mike's a bit quiet, but yeah, so close, and I just feel like it's going to be a close race at the front. Yep. I just can't call it. Don't know who to call.
It's Clay Pigeon, it's an hour, and it's going to be incredibly intense. It's time to rock and roll at Clay Pigeon, the 8th round of the Daytona DMAX 2018 Inter Enduro Championships. Ed White from pole position with Joe Ellis in 2nd, Bobby Trundley 3rd, and Chris Alcock in 4th. From Sean Brierley, Andy Spencer, Curtis Mitchell and Owen Genman. Chris Hackworth is a long way down in 9th on the grid, along with James McFadden. Josh Craft and Philip Senior, Mike Coppin and James Wattis, Simon Ross and Sam Bennett on at the 8th row, Anthony Kirk down in the 9th row of the grid alongside Martin Bork, then Tyrone Bellett Jr. and Tim Ellis. Tom Pugh, still an Inter nowadays, having made his 2nd appearance here today, and it's him on the 9th row of the grid, sorry, the 11th row of the grid, alongside Leo Stolyarov, then James Browning, Tony LeCastro, Lee Carey, Stuart Sherman, Paul Mason, and the 28th man in, Nigel Foote. This is going to be an intriguing one. 51 points in offer now. Ed White has got the point for pole position. Who's going to get fastest lap? Who's going to get the win? It's too close to call, Anthony.
It is indeed too close to call. Qualifying was incredibly close. Hopefully the race is closer. I'm really looking forward to this one.
So there will be a strong challenge from the front, with Ed White and Joe Ellis obviously going to try and keep things very, very close in together, with Bobby Trundley in 3rd position, wanting to make the best jump. Chris Alcock, who is currently 4th in the points, but closing in on Genman and Spencer's tally every meeting, is definitely going to be one to watch for the victory. Genman himself is only 8th on the grid for this one, but his colleague over at the Titan Motorsport operation, Ed White, is on pole position, and this is his 1st ever Daytona DMAX pole. It's his 3rd appearance of 2018, so there's a lot of unknowns coming into this one, as the field is now very much in position. They're getting the revs rising. Up they come, and Bobby Trundley getting a very frustrated sat in the queue as we wait for the lights, and now we're going racing through the 1st corner, and it's a beautiful start for Ed White, and Trundley forces his way into 2nd position nicely on momentum, so he is through into 2nd place, and there's a spin in the mid-pack. We've got somebody facing the wrong way, unfortunately, through turn 1, and that has caused a massive difficulty. Yellow flags fly, and as the leaders come through, it is the 13, I think that is. No, that looks to me like Andy Spencer. That's Andy Spencer, the 13. 3rd in the championship, facing the wrong way.
Really, really not good for Andy Spencer. Very unlucky. It just looked like too many cars into one around the 1st corner. big shame for Andy Spencer.
It does happen. It gets very congested at Clay Pigeon. Out in front, Ed White leading as Bobby Trundley is trying to come around the outside. Surely he can't pull that one off. Yes, he does. Trundley round the outside of turn 1. Gets it set up for turn 2. And coming with him now is the 23 in there of Joe Ellis. Sorry, the 25. And we've got a spin into turn 2. Already some major difficulties then. Wow, very exciting stuff from Bobby Trundley. He's pulled off the move of the century round the outside at turn 1. I don't think Ed White saw that one coming. Chris Alcock, after all that, has tumbled down to 12th position.
Really disappointing start then for Chris Alcock. So times at the front, still really close. Gap now between Bobby Trundley and Joe Ellis, about 0.3 of a second. But Joe Ellis and Ed White still really trying to gain time and not let Bobby Trundley get away.
There's a really good fight back here from Andy Spencer as he tries to cut his way through the traffic. He's already made his way up into, I think that's now 20th position, but he's battling with Tom Pugh, who is not going to make things easy for him for the very simple fact that Tom Pugh has come into this as a new challenge, wanting to make as much progress as he possibly can. 3 leaders over the line, and a new fastest lap for Joe Ellis, 40.038. We're going to see 39s before the end of this race.
So looking at the top 2 drivers, Joe Ellis is all over the back of Bobby Trundley. Bobby Trundley had a bit of a disaster that last lap, and he's got Joe Ellis all over the back. Joe Ellis goes to the inside, into the hairpin, doesn't think of a move there, sticks behind, but it looks like a bit of a nudge, and he has got past.
Trying to get there on the exit, and Bobby Trundley not making life easy for him as they come back into the combination through Buttons, named after the man who started his racing career at this very circuit, of course, Jenson Button, off the final turn and down the main straight past the clubhouse through to turn 1. Bobby Trundley has got masses of pressure now from Ellis and White as they continue to push in, but Trundley is going to keep this lead as much as he possibly can. You've got to keep this kart as wide as possible and consistent as possible. This is not a very long circuit, so there's not a lot of room for negotiation if you get it wrong, and they're already coming up to lap somebody. Who is that? I think that is Nigel Foote.
So I think Nigel that's Paul Manson.
Oh, it might be Paul Mason.
Sorry,
Paul Mason, you might be right. So that could be a bit of an issue. And if Joe Ellis is quick thinking, he should be able to find his way further forward. Yes, Nigel Foote has already had an incident after a spin and is now trying to make up the progress. So that is Mason in front of them. But if these 3 come up to him at the wrong moment, Joe Ellis is going to try and make the dive at the inside. The kart is so loose through turn 1. The back end slides around all over the place. You're on the limit of adhesion on the fastest corner on the circuit, and it's so easy to get it wrong. Joe Ellis suddenly realizing, if I push this too hard, I am gonna find the barriers. Now we've got a 3-way battle up the road that Bobby Trundley is going to come up to. This is McFadden, Carey and Shearman, who are having a terrific tussle. They're going to come through the chicane together. Bobby Trundley's going to catch them. Now surely Joe Ellis is hoping that Trundley gets held up as these 3 battle, but that's not going to happen because Shearman lets him go. At the back, have you seen the 4-way scrap we've got now? Because Genman, who was in no man's land on his own, has now got a massive problem because this train of Mitchell, Hackworth and Brierley has caught him up. So Genman's in real trouble of losing the place. Mitchell's going to go for the move up the inside. No problem at all. No hesitation. And he's through in a 4th place. And as a result, 2 places gained there from Brierley. He gets past Hackworth and Genman in the same move.
I mean, that would take advantage there when you can. Really good move there from Brierley. And of course, Chris Hackworth really struggled. He was trying to get that space. He just got a bit of a tussle there with Genman. Didn't manage to get past.
He's side by side with Mitchell. Here he comes again. Round the outside. He's going to try and hold him. Squeeze him to the inside line. Mitchell does not let him come through. And now Genman's going to pop back up the inside of Brierley. Hold it to the chicane. And he's through. Great move from Genman.
Looks
really
like
opportunistic.
Looked like Hackworth got a good run there. He's going on the outside of the hairpin. He's trying to get the cut back onto the inside. Just can't. Really good racing from Brierley there.
So Genman trying to get back to the front of this queue. He tries to squeeze up the inside there through the left-hander, up towards Buttons and through the right flick. And now up through that final turn. At pit bend, he's going to try and get a good squiggle on. Oh, Curtis Mitchell, so close to rubbing the tyres on the outside. That's how hard he's pushing. Meanwhile, Genman snaking under braking under pressure from Brierley, and in behind him, Chris Hackworth, who is just biding his time and letting these guys fight it out. Hackworth has been here many times before. He knows what to expect. So he's not in the panic mode yet, but they are definitely losing a massive amount of time to Messrs Trundley, Ellis and White up the road. In fact, Trundley has pulled out a good second and a half now, nearly, over Joe Ellis and Ed White. Well, through the traffic, Bobby Trundley has responded to Joe Ellis. The gap has come back up to 1.5 seconds. Meanwhile, Mike Coppin has got some pressure from Chris Alcock. Alcock is all over the back of Coppin, who is sliding about under braking, really struggling, and they're being caught by Josh Kraft. So Kraft is going to try. Here goes Alcock, dives up the inside. Beautifully done. Really nice work there from Chris Alcock, and he gestures to Mike, come on, mate, let's get after the guys in front. We're losing so much time here, but that was absolutely textbook from Chris Alcock. Spencer is basically resuscitating his weekend here as he carves his way through the field, dives for the inside, makes that was a bit of a cheeky move there from Spencer. He made Ross defend to the inside, then cut across as he thought he was going to the outside and sold him a dummy. Very nicely done there. So Spencer into 11th position and now just one place off the top 10. But top 10 is not good enough for Andy Spencer. He's got 38 minutes to try and make his way up onto the back of this queue. And do you know what? The pace he's currently going, I reckon he could get there. And as Alcock and Coppin are now helping each other to get onto the back of Chris Hackworth, that could happen too. Meanwhile, the leaders, Bobby Trundley has got Joe Ellis right underneath him as they come through the final turn. So Joe Ellis is back on the train of Bobby Trundley, and Bobby knows it. He's seen in his over the back of his shoulder, his mirror, so to speak. He has gone through, and now he's got Joe Ellis all behind him. So Bobby Trundley, he did have a second and a half on Joe Ellis. Now it's less than a quarter of a second.
It was up to 2 seconds at one point. That's why I kind of lost track of it. But I've come around now. Only 2 tenths between them. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe he got stuck behind one of the back markers or made a mistake. But he's got Joe Ellis all over the back of him now.
He got side by side with Bobby Trundley and put his hand in the air as if to say, remember me? I'm right on you, mate. Here we go. This is going to be an interesting battle between these two. A little cheeky wave as if to say, I'm on you, mate. So Bobby Trundley having to adjust his visor down the straight. Is this going to be a chance for Joe Ellis? Oh, he had to slam on the brakes through the exit of the apex because Bobby Trundley positioned the car beautifully. I think Joe sensed that there might have been a passing move there in a turn one, but Bobby shut him down. Brilliant.
Absolutely great racing from these two. So close and precise under the braking into these heavy braking zones. I'll tell you what, if it was me, I'd have crashed into the back end by now.
I certainly would have done as well, because the thing is, Bobby's so good at positioning the car. That's where he gets his best opportunities to pull away, because all that took was, again, very similar to Owen Genman. He just moved the car a little way across. Now they've got traffic to deal with, so Bobby knows he can just dive up the inside. Joe's already backed out of it for the moment. This is very mature and controlled driving from Bobby Trundley here. He's really worked this out, calculated it to the inch when he's got somebody behind him. If he can just pull across a couple of inches, he's all right. And it's almost as if negating pole position has taught him just that little bit of extra about the circuit as to where you can position it off the start. And that fact was demonstrated when he got into second place off the start. So Trundley has done a lot of homework in the last half an hour. He's really put himself into a good position. Mike Coppin and Chris Alcock are getting down the gap. They had about 8 seconds off the back of Hackworth. Now it's down to 6.6. So actually, Coppin and Alcock working together. And is that Josh Kraft in with them? Yes, it is. So Josh Kraft is in there with them. These three are working together to close up on the battle for 4th position. And look who's right behind them. There's Andy Spencer. Spencer is catching them as well. So this is definitely going to go down to the wire as Spencer in third place, as we know, in the Drivers' Championship, just 6 points back from Genman. This is going to get very spicy because there's several drivers in the mix. Yellow flags. The Mitchell in the barriers. Mitchell went into the barriers of the hairpin there. So he's got back on the circuit behind Chris Alcock, but the 27, Curtis Mitchell, is now down in 10th place. That is an absolute disaster for Mitchell. And this is a critical point in the Drivers' Championship for Hackworth. He is 5th in the points. He's 17 behind Alcock, but he is a good 23 points behind Spencer. He needs to take advantage of this to get as many points in the bag as he can here, and a 4th place finish would definitely help out Hackworth championship campaign-wise. Josh Kraft has stepped up the attack, and he's got Coppin right in front of him. So Josh Kraft is going to start to get the deadlock in behind Mike Coppin, and the reason for that is because he is being caught by Mitchell and Spencer. So they need to get on with this. They've got some traffic in front of them. Coppin's got to pick his moment. They get through just about, but that was very nervous.
Mason again involved with the back marker run here. Manages to get them past, but they had Stuart Shearman to negotiate as well, as Coppin is doing all sorts of hand signals across the start
what's that gesture? Is that overtake me and then I'll overtake you back? We're closing in on Genman. What was that hand gesture?
I need to look at my international hand signal book guideline just to see what that meant.
I'm not a racing driver, so look, now he's gesturing to it. Come on, that's Genman. We can get him. I think that one didn't need translating. Oh, and there's been a spin behind them. A couple of carts have gone into the barriers behind them.
Looks like Shearman's involved as one of the carts. I'm not sure who the other driver is.
I think you're right. I think that is definitely Shearman. I'm not sure who has gone with him there, but they've both got back into the race itself. Spencer has actually fallen off the back of Mitchell a little bit as they now get very close to Coppin and Kraft. Is he sizing something up here? If he thinks that he's got a chance to get straight onto the back of Mitchell from a few kart lengths back as they gain ground on Coppin and Kraft, Spencer may gain 2 or 3 places. And in terms of the championship fight, that's huge.
It is indeed, and as they cross the line, this gap is getting ever closer. I think this is going to be a have to hold on to yourselves. This is going to get interesting.
Yeah, Coppin is definitely having a bit of a difficulty keeping Kraft on his game plan. He's just signalling to him, come on, just stay by me. Let's push each other forward here. I'll take the lead. I don't want you in front of me, but I'll take the lead and we'll just edge further forward towards Genman. This is not working though, and it's running out of time. And as a result, up the inside, taking the place, Josh Kraft says, this plan is not working, mate. I'm going to take the lead. You now push me. Let's see where we can go from here.
They come across the line. I don't know if there was a little bit of contact going into the horseshoe. I couldn't see it. But as they come into the heavy braking zone into turn 1,
oh, Coppin's going to get back on the inside. And Mitchell may find a gap to get through in the chicane as well. He is there. He's done it. But Spencer couldn't follow through. Now, that's the big difficulty there because Spencer wanted to try and come past and make a gain as well. And unfortunately, he's been compromised.
He has indeed. Really unfortunate. You've got Kraft looking behind him. You don't want to be doing that, especially going into the hairpin. He needs to stay focused, keep on the back of Mitchell, but Spencer is still all over the back of him. He's going to look to the inside now. Is he going to into the final corner? He doesn't. Stays behind. He gets the slipstream across the start-finish line.
So now down that main straight, Coppin just checking over his shoulder. Now it's Mitchell who's going to go for the move, and he hasn't dealt with Mitchell once over the course of this race, so he doesn't know what Mitchell's going to try and do. He finds a little whiff of a gap as Coppin gets a little bit wide. Mitchell through. Beautiful overtaking move.
Really great driving from Mitchell. Again, spun earlier in the race. Really unfortunate for him, but he's clawing it back now in the position, so really great driving from Mitchell.
Yeah, to be fair to Curtis, he has made massive gains since that spin earlier on, and he's got himself right back into the hunt for a strong finish in what is turning into a bit of an up and down, topsy-turvy season for Curtis. He's had some amazing performances, and then things have not gone his way. Spencer's made the
inside.
move.
Yeah, Spencer down the inside. It was a really late lunch on Kraft, but he managed to make the move done as they cross the line now into T1.
And now Coppin is trying to work with Mitchell to get away from Spencer because he knows how fast Spencer is. And of course, Mike Coppin is trying to close up on Spencer's tally in the championship. 262 for Spencer, 232 for Coppin. Briley is in the middle of the danger zone. Get out of the way, he gestures. Chris Hackworth's up my trumpet. I am not going to lose this position because you slow coaches are holding me up. He comes out of the final turn, and Chris Hackworth is now just a few kart lengths in it. And Chris Hackworth got held up there, unfortunately, by James Wattis, and he gestures. Come on, mate. Blue flag means get out the way. What are you playing at? Spencer's got Coppin. Spencer's got Coppin, so that's a big one in terms of championship points. Spencer's now going to try and close up on Curtis Mitchell, and they're all going to have a bit of a humiliating moment coming up because look behind Kraft. That is Bobby Trundley. That is the race leader as Coppin runs wide. Kraft gets up the inside. Oh dear, Mike Coppin, a couple of very problematic mistakes at exactly the wrong moment. Mike Coppin, another member of the top 6 brigade, looks set to be lapped by Bobby Trundley. How is he this fast compared to everybody else?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to seize that GoPro off him and find out.
Astonishing how when he gets into his rhythm, he is just unstoppable. If he gets into a battle with somebody, then he's as good, as capable as anybody else. But once he's in his rhythm, Coppin lets him go. There's no point fighting with him at this point because he's just going to compromise his own race. He falls in behind Bobby Trundley. He can gain some ground. Meanwhile, Spencer's got past on Mitchell. Spencer's through on Mitchell. Now that is crucial. That's another 2 points made up in terms of the championship fight for Spencer. So Spencer is through past Mitchell and Bobby Trundley is going to lap them. Now this is very significant because of course we're going to get the man who is third in the Drivers' Championship very nearly lapped by Bobby Trundley, and that is going to send his heart plummeting to his boots. Trundley, as he laps Spencer, we could be in for a very interesting dynamic on Mitchell as Mitchell tries to close up. And look, 2 kart lengths in front of them. That is Genman. That is Genman having lost time, so they're not far away from this. In the last 3.5 minutes, there could be a very interesting battle between Genman and Spencer, who, let's not forget, are 2nd and 3rd in the championship.
They are indeed, and just this battle here is just incredibly close. As
Trundley's got his hand in the air. He's enraged at Spencer. Come on, mate. This isn't. You're not playing the game right here. You need to get out of my way. I don't care that you're battling me for the championship. I'm faster than you. I'm a lap ahead of you. Get out the way.
I saw Spencer across the line. He was trying to let Trundley through, but Trundley just didn't have the grunt to get past. So,
and Spencer got nerfed there by the back marker. Spencer runs out wide. Mitchell gets through. Now that is a disaster, and unfortunately James Wattis has rather uncharacteristically played a hand in that battle, and Spencer not happy. He missed his braking point, Wattis, collected the back of Spencer, nerfed him wide, and now Mitchell is through. Well, that's definitely not a drink that's being bought for James Wattis later, is it? Meanwhile, up the road, Bobby Trundley is lapping Owen Genman. That is 1st and 2nd in the Drivers' Championship.
Well, what do you say to that?
There is nothing to say to that. I mean, there's one thing to battle with your opposition. There's one thing to lap back markers the way he has. But look, Trundley has gone past the man who is 2nd in the Drivers' Championship and is disappearing.
Mitchell on Genman as well. Struggle behind Mason. That's Spencer.
And Spencer as well.
Yeah, Spencer's got past as well.
Nightmare for Genman. That has absolutely ruined his race. Being lapped by Trundley has absolutely hammer-blowed him. Mitchell and Spencer have both got through. Now, if Spencer gets back past Mitchell, which he is now attempting, then that's going to give him masses of points, and it's going to help him close up on Genman. Only 6 points between them, don't forget. But this is very nearly one hand on the championship trophy for the 2nd year running for Bobby Trundley. So now they are side by side. Spencer very nearly on the grass there, placed by Mitchell. He's going to try and keep his foot in. Mitchell dives across. He's not going to have the fastest line out of turn 2. And Spencer's going to make a gap up the inside and up on the grass. Mitchell is forced onto the grass. And I don't think he's going to be happy about that one. Spencer and Genman both get through. Mitchell trying to come around the outside and hold on to it. Now Genman side by side with Spencer. Well, what are they going to think about that one?
Well, you saw the contact as they came into the chicane. It really unsettled Mitchell's car, and he had nowhere to go. He would have hit the tyre walls, he'd have hit the barriers, and the race would have been completely over. I think it was the best decision of his personality to do. We'll have to see what race control say to it.
To be honest, I don't think I saw anything untoward wrong with it, as Genman and Mitchell are now side by side. It looked to me, Mitchell holding on there in front of Genman, it looked to me as though Spencer had a legitimate move up the inside. He was enough alongside. Mitchell was turning across and in to hold the line. There's not enough room for the two of them to go. I'm not sure if that's a racing incident or not, but it's very tough to call. But Chris Hackworth is all over the back bumper of him now as they come through together. There could be a big opportunity for Hackworth. Briley is defending like mad, and Hackworth is desperately trying to get that move up the inside to work, and it just doesn't seem to be paying off at the moment. Briley has good grunt out of the slower curves.
Look, the checker flag is at the ready. It's in the marshal's hands. Where is Trundley?
Here's Trundley out of the final turn. Bobby Trundley's going to get the victory. A brilliant result. Bobby Trundley is delighted with that. A fantastic win in which he has lapped all his main championship opponents. Absolutely astonishing.
Buy that man a drink.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, this 4th position battle is still going down to the flag. Ellis is 2nd, White is 3rd. But this 4th place battle is going right to the death, and Hackworth knows the checkered flag is out, so he knows he's only got one more chance. Briley knows he's got one corner left to defend, but Hackworth is going to come from too far back. It's going to be Briley to hang on to fourth. Great driving, and Sean Briley with a stunning result. He is happy with fourth place. A great effort there from Sean Briley. He really drove beautifully. Hackworth in fifth. Sixth place for Spencer from Mitchell and Genman. Spencer and Genman, the championship contenders, outside the top three. Absolutely astonishing. Josh Craft in ninth. Mike Coppin fights back to 10th, and Chris Alcock will be very disappointed with 11th. Ed, that was a very good start to the race. The pace was looking very strong in the beginning, and it just sort of tailed away once you got into traffic.
Yeah, sort of first 10 minutes was, we were all together, and Bobby sort of managed to get a gap from me and Joe, and then Joe managed to get a gap from me and him, and sort of that was it really. No more racing after that.
But you still got the bonus point for pole position, and you're on the podium, so obviously a very, very strong race.
Yeah, happy, yeah. Looking forward to the sprints in the afternoon, but yeah, it was a good race.
Fantastic. Well done, Ed. Great job from Ed in second position. He's disappeared. Oh, hey, well, I thought you'd be on my right for some reason. Joe, second position. There was a point in the midway part of the race when you got back onto the tail of Bobby, and we really thought that there might be a bit of a shindig.
Yeah, I think Bobby made a couple of mistakes. I managed to catch up. I didn't really want to go for the pass that early, though, because I thought Ed would catch us if we started having a scrap. But then Bobby kind of got back on form and pulled away again. So didn't quite manage to get him, but yeah.
What this has really done in terms of the championship is it's put you right on the tail of that top six now. So there's a really good chance that these last two races we could see you in a very strong position.
Maybe, yeah. I haven't really been looking at the points, but yeah, hopefully.
Fantastic. Well done, Joe.
Thanks.
Let's get the man of the moment in there, Bobby Trundley. You said to me this morning you had a fry-up, and that was to aid traction, aid downforce. I have a fried breakfast every day. Why aren't I as quick as you then?
I don't know.
Charming.
It's just been a fantastic race. I mean, I might only have one little mistake, and that was going in there because of trying to overtake that traffic. But it's just a hard race. It may look easy being out front, but trust me, if you've got the calibre like Joe and Ed behind you, you know that you're good. If you muck up one move, they're going to be right on your bumper like Joe was. That's why Joe went defensive when I knew that he was right behind me. However, it was a great race.
DMAX on tour has been pretty successful for you in 2018. Back to Milton Keynes and Sandown to finish off. It's looking pretty good at this point.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Milton Keynes is one of my strongest tracks when it's cold, as we all know. So that might be a good sign, if it's cold, that is.
Keep it up, mate. It's going very, very well. Well done.
Thank you.
So, it looks like it's going to be a very interesting end to the season, and we've got the point where the sun came out and really spiced things up. You got your shades back on.
I got my shades back on, oh yes.
Yes, looking very Top Gun. But in terms of the championship, it's going to get very, very difficult now for the likes of Gemma and Spencer to close up. They finished strong in the end, but off the podium means that Bobby's one step closer.
Yeah, those crucial points, they've really missed out on it, but say the race itself, a fantastic race. A bit of controversy there with the Mitchell and the chicane, but to say it was more of a 50-50. So, yeah, we'll have to see where it goes from there.
There's 2 rounds to go. Perhaps you could get on the grid as well. DaytonaMax.co.uk is the website. Book your place, and we'll see you at Milton Keynes for round 9.